episode's gonna be all about you, and you have to tell us all your deepest, darkest problems with that mask on.
In a clown mask.
Shout out to Blake's kids. I can have tea at 9:00.
Ah, look at you bringing the jokes. Missing this has to be material. You premature, bro.
Oh
Hey.
man.
At least I waited till Richard logged in.
What?
I said, at least I waited till Richard logged in.
Oh yeah. It was good. Very good. Well, yeah, we never saw you on the video, so anyways.
Yeah, he just logged on.
Yeah.
All right,
That's why I waited.
let's rock and roll.
Oh, okay. All right. Are you playing the beginning? Are you playing our old podcast or no?
Better get out of here, honky.
Now for something completely different.
Well, two honks and Kim just messing around. You'll never know what they talk about on two honks. Two honks and Kevin. You might hear something about the NBA. Maybe they'll just make your day on two honks and Kevin. It's sports and life and family too. Let's all listen to two honks and a Kevin. Yeehaw! I just crapped my pants.
All right. It is close to Halloween, October 28th. Also almost a full moon. As you can tell, Kevin is slowly starting to change.
Is it? Hey, hold on. Is that white facing?
That's what my daughter said.
That's what your daughter said. Yeah. Is that going to be the next thing canceled? If you in 10 years, are you going to get canceled because of this?
Absolutely. Somebody's gonna look back when we hit on our podcast and we're making millions of dollars. And we're like, hey, remember when Kevin was white facing? Like the Spotify employees will go nuts.
You're really hard to understand. I ain't gonna lie.
I said the Spotify employees will go nuts.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm sure they will.
Can get together. So I guess we should probably just discuss last week's happenings.
Yeah.
Quick. So I'm gonna, I guess, probably splice the last week's show into the beginning of this. And I don't know if Kevin wants to continue down the road he was on, or if that conversation's over and you just want to move on.
Hold on, dude. You need to wear that thing backwards. It looks like you have a purple. It looks like you have a purple afro, and you try to put a sock over your head.
Yeah.
Homie the clown.
For the listeners out there, Kevin had started the show off with a scary white mask, and then he just flipped it backwards, and now it looks like he's got a purple afro. So, anyways,
what's the shirt, Kevin? Mike Tyson? Is it Michael Jackson? No, LeBron.
Yeah,
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jackson. Michael Jordan.
Oh yeah.
Mike Tyson be like Mike.
Okay.
So a couple of racists, and then the GOAT.
Absolutely.
Or not racist. A couple molesters, and the GOAT. My bad, I said racist.
And then I'm representing the Briss Ice Tea for Blake's kids. Blake has a cool story of it was bedtime.
It's not
8:00, and the kids are just going nuts because they want some tea. I don't know. It's so hilarious to me because with little kids, it's just that one little thing that sends them overboard, right? It's like, man, you didn't tuck me in right, and I'm just gonna throw a fit. I'm gonna do anything not to go.
Yes.
There, basically.
Yes. Yeah.
So like I'm sitting there, like you're telling me about it, and like I'm thinking of every excuse my daughter would have gave me about the tea. Like she would be like, "I'm dehydrated. I'm dehydrated.
Yeah, I'm starving.
I'm hungry is the big one. I'm hungry. My belly hurts.
Yes.
That's
yes. As soon as you say it's time for bed,
I'm hungry.
It's like I'm gonna start telling them it's time for bed at 6 o'clock, and they're gonna say I'm hungry. Like, okay, cool. Mom just fixed dinner. Here you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she had. So the backstory of the whole situation is that Evie, who's 3 years old, it's 8 o'clock. She's already had one glass of tea, by the way. Asked for another, and of course we said no. It's almost bedtime, and just the word no to any kid is just like you might as well just throw knives at them, I guess. And she just goes in this full on to where like Nika literally has to take her. Yeah, I mean, she basically was put in timeout. Like it turned into timeout. It's just like, and then that's when I was texting you guys because you were like, "What time tonight?" I was like, "I'm currently dealing with a 3-year-old crying over a cup of tea, guys. I don't know when I could start. It depends on how long this kid's gonna cry."
Was it Chick-fil-A tea?
No, it was just what Nika makes, which is full of sugar.
Good tea, man.
Yeah, it is good stuff.
Some good tea.
It is
Man,
good
that's
stuff.
awesome.
So back on topic. So if you guys did just hear that intro, I honestly can't remember what all we talked about, but I know we were kind of getting into a little bit of Kevin going from inner city schools going into Perry and a little bit of that. So we ended up having a really good conversation after that. So it's kind of a bummer it didn't get recorded. So if we do repeat ourselves from what we previously said, just roll with it. It is what it is. So anyways, so yeah, Kevin, I don't know if you kind of have a train of thought to run with to where we can kind of go right back into this.
So last week's episode is probably titled Blake Sucks at Technology 4. Because he's the reason that it didn't record.
He's got more money than the Fast and Furious franchise now.
Dude, what'd you say?
He said you've got more movies than the Fast and Furious franchise.
I'm not. You're cutting out. I missed it. Sorry. Anyways, go ahead.
So he was basically saying like you're like a Fast and Furious / Rocky franchise where it's like 5 episodes of you.
Oh, sorry. You cut out. I was like, I have no idea what he said. So, anyways, okay.
No, but
yeah.
like the
I think it was Kevin's fault, by the way.
So the outline of the episode basically was like, I grew up in the inner city, and that's all I saw for until my, I say teenage years. I'm thinking 14, 15. I'm a freshman, and I started getting into sports. And I basically, spent a majority of my life at that point during high school in a different community. And so it gave me something to look for and like think about beyond what my normal home life and community was. And like, to me, I was blessed more than anybody else because I had a dad and mom and stuff like that. But like, I still had nothing to look to, right? So I kind of saw things different and saw other people were raised and other people did different things, and that gave me like a perception of choice. Like, I don't have to do this. Like, I can do this way. Like, I look forward to this. Like, you can also make money this way. So that's basically what last episode was about. I don't know. I didn't even listen to it. I didn't know how choppy it was or where it broke off, but that's the outline of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of the stuff that we're talking about, kind of throughout that podcast, whatever, was just influences in your life, just people in your life. That's something I was going to say. Kind of maybe ask a question like, did you guys have somebody else in your life besides a father that was kind of a role model to you or a big influence to you that maybe kind of helped you? Because I know the last podcast we were kind of talking about how it's interesting how you just have like certain friends for a certain time in your life. It may just be like a 2 or 3 year gap where it's just like you guys were just boys, you hung out all the time, and then you just kind of separated. You don't really know why. You just, life just went its. So yes, I didn't know if you guys had an example of anybody like that was kind of I guess an influence. More, I think I'm thinking more of like an influence than anything. Like if it was an uncle or whatever.
Well, I kind of touched on this when we talked last time, so I don't know what was recorded or not. But you guys know my story. I was raised basically without a father. For a majority of my, kind of forming years, between the years of like 4th grade and like sophomore, junior in high school, I didn't have like a father in the home. So it was just my mom and my grandma. And so, I mean, I had, like youth leaders at church, people
Mhm.
that, I'm still friends with today, who I hold in a high regard, and people that set a good example for me, took me on camp outs, took me to, the father and son activities when
Mm.
I didn't have a father. So like I was included in these things. I wasn't left out and things like that. And people like that. So like, even though I was raised quote unquote without a father in the home for a majority of my upbringing, I never felt like it. I never felt like
Really?
I was shorted or left short anything in that department. You know what I mean? I had uncles and stuff like that, and my dad came around a little bit near, during my high school years. But I mean, for the most part, it was youth leaders that kept up with me, came and talked to me, and made sure I was kind of weaving a good path. Obviously, with a mother and a grandmother as well, doing that too. So
Right. Wow. Yeah, that's yeah, I just kind of got to thinking about like what if you didn't have like those people in your life, like maybe if you didn't go to that church and if you didn't, get connected with those youth leaders, to kind of have to help guide you. And like I don't know, because I just always think about, because like I've always said this, like we're all just one mistake away. Like we're one bad decision away of really screwing up our life. Like when you think about it, and the grand scheme of things, no matter how many great things you've done and how good of a person you are, you do one thing. I mean, you can, whatever it is, right? You could just screw up
Yeah.
your whole entire life. You have one too many drinks, you drive home, you're not even drunk, but whatever, you hit somebody, boom, that's it. Like, I mean, your life is,
or just a cop gets behind you and pulls you over.
yeah, you don't even have to hit anybody. But anyway, so it's just an example. So, I don't know. I just always kind of think about like, if you do have a kid that's like 13 or 14 or whatever, and it's like they have that void, I mean, Richard kind of had ups and downs with his family through the years, so I'm sure he can relate to a lot of this too. But I don't know. I just, it's like you can see how so many kids can just go down the wrong path just because they didn't have one person in their life that would just take them by the collar and be like, no, like this is how life is. This is, this is how, I mean, Kevin, you talked about, your dad was home all the time, right? And it's just like you saw people make bad decisions to the right and left of you, but it's like you at least had that one man in your life to really help guide you, and keep you from so many mistakes, So, and of course, I apply that as all of us being parents, it's like it's such an important but cool role. You know what I'm saying? It's like you just, yeah. So anyways.
Yeah, I mean, you are responsible for influencing somebody's thoughts and decisions. Like, saying that is like, wow, you know what I'm saying?
It's a big responsibility.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
Yeah. Because you're going to mold them the way you were molded, but also take your thoughts and ideas of your own and your own experiences with you, but also what your parents have instilled in you, or your uncle or your grandpa, right? And then he's like, you just keep passing it down, and it's just like, dude, I don't know. It's pretty interesting when you think about it, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know what to segue into that. I mean, I got a pretty funny van story, I guess we could kind of transition into, because Richard, do you remember hearing any van talk last podcast?
No.
Okay, so that didn't get recorded. Okay. I'm gonna try to keep this within like 35 minutes. But here's so here's the situation. I'm gonna fly through it. Okay. 2 days before we go on vacation, our personal van stops working. Basically what happened, it overheated. We got it home. It was steaming. We thought it was engine problems. It ended up being the radiated flue. The coolant spilled over, got on the engine, so it smoked and made it look like it was smoking. This was just my wife kind of telling me what happened. So anyways, so we were renting a car for vacation, thankfully, so that didn't screw up. It was a Tahoe. We took the Tahoe, whatever. We get back and we actually kind of sit on the van for like a week because my mechanic's on vacation and we just didn't know what to do. I didn't want to start it again, and afraid that because I didn't know what caused it to smoke. I just assumed it was the coolant, yada yada yada, right? So, anyways, on Monday, I have my parents come over to help with the kids, so I can drive the van straight to the mechanic. Actually, I was on top, take Ella. I was dropping Ella off at swim practice, and then I was going to go take it to Beck Toyota for them to look at the vehicle, and then Nika was going to meet me there in my car. So I get there, and they give me this spiel of it's going to be like 2 weeks to fix it, and I was just like, well, I don't have 2 weeks to wait on you guys to fix it or to even get to it. So I just felt like they didn't want me as a customer. So I was like, all right, fine, then I'll just go down the street. So I turn around, I go in and get in the van, and the van won't start. So I'm stuck in the bay to go into the shop. So I try it again, and I'm actually on the phone with Nika, and she's on her way. And I go to start it again, and it doesn't start. And then I can start smelling like a smoke. And I was like, oh my God, like my car just freaking died, literally at Beck Toyota, right? So I go inside, and I was like, well, I guess I'm leaving my car here because it just died. And he was like, okay. And I was like, where do you want me to put it? He's like, just push it into some spot. And I was just like, can I get a little help? Like, can I get a hand here? Like, yeah, like I'm going to steer this. It's got, obviously the steering wheel's all locked up and everything. So anyways, so I go out, or he gets a couple mechanics, and I'm already out in the car trying to push it. They come, and I push it, we park it, and we start looking for vans. So this is the beginning stage of, we're looking for a new vehicle. Hands are tied. It's literally dead. So I'm waiting on them to let me know what the damage is. They call me a couple days later. It was they have to tear apart the motor to find out, but it's either the lower intake gasket or the head gasket. That's a $700 fix or a $2,000 fix, and it's $400 just to look at it. This is a van that might be worth $1,500. It's an 04. 175,000 miles. We've driven it to its grave, right? Like literally. So, but we kind of was like, okay, what do we do? Like, do we, for $700 we can fix it and maybe get, another year out of it or whatever, right? But then again, do you really want to pay $700 and that not even be it or whatever, right? So anyways, car search begins. We get in touch with this guy named Joe from Ray Skillman Ford, okay, down on 31. And we have been looking. We have narrowed it down. We kind of know the vehicle we want. We either want a Toyota Sienna, which is what we had. It's what Nika had. It's what she loves. It's what she's used to, right? Or a Honda Odyssey. Just we love the Hondas and we love the Toyotas because they last forever, right? Somebody say right, Zach. Well, they're supposed to. I mean, yeah, 175 miles. We kind of felt like it was going to get more, but anyways. So we do some research or whatever, and we go to a dealer, and we wanted white. Like my wife just wanted white. It's what she has, what she likes. We just like that look on vans or whatever. It was either white or black. She really didn't want like gray. That was her biggest thing. She didn't want gray. And I was like, okay, that's fine. So we get to the dealer. So he's looking up, vehicles or whatever. And he's like, well, I just had this one come in, and it was over our budget. And I was just like, dude, it's too much money or whatever. And he's like, well, might be able to come down. We start playing this game, right? Well, it's silver. So when I first see it, I just go, well, Nika doesn't really want a gray one. And I was just like, well, do you at least just want to go see it? Like, it may not look that bad, because there's a certain like silver that we actually like. Like it's kind of sharp looking on vehicles, but for whatever reason, there's like, I don't know, everyone's got their picky choices when it comes to cars, I guess. And we're about to buy the car for like the next 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how we do it. So it's like, it's a little bit of a, tough decision, right? So, okay. So we go and we look at the car, which is at a totally different dealership off of Shaylin, right? So we go and we look at the car, and he basically tells us, just take it home, see what you think, okay? And first impression, we actually kind of liked it. And the inside was like perfect. Like it's 4 years old, only 60,000 miles on it. And it was just like, wow, this is like really nice. I really wish it was white, but whatever, it's not bad. So anyway, so we drive it home and we have it for the night. The kids see it, everyone's excited. My parents were actually over, obviously helping with the kids. And so they're checking it out or whatever. And then so the next day we were like, well, let's just see, we really like this model. Let's just see if we can find it in white. So we start doing in-depth research, exact same car, find a white one, right? So we find a white one up in Carmel near my work. Perfect. It was like $5,000 less. It had 25,000 more miles. But it was white and had everything. It was just like it was like, okay, cool. This is it. This is the one. So I make an appointment at 4:00 to be there to get it. I walk in, give him my name. Guy comes back. Well, I got good news and I got bad news. He goes, your car got sold 2 hours ago. But the good news is we have this other one. Well, the other one was like this blue color. It didn't even hold a candle to the one that we brought in. So hold on. We literally drove the van that we're thinking about buying to a different dealership to look for a car to replace it. Right? Like petty. No, because hold on. Because this is what I should have said. Because we have to make a decision that night if we are returning it to the actual, not to the dealership we first met at, because we had to drive to
the second dealership on Salem.
Yeah, which is Mazda. So if I say Mazda or Ford, you'll know which one. Ford was the one on the south side. Mazda's the one on Salem. So we go. Hold on, now I gotta get back on track where I was. So we're up north in Carmel, and at this point, I've already told Joe, the guy I'm dealing with. I said, "Listen, man, we found one up north. It's white. It's $5,000 less. Like, we have to look at it. We're looking at it right now. If it doesn't work out, we'll bring this car right back to you." And this was last night. We'll make the decision of either keeping the car, which means we're taking it to him because he'll finalize everything, or literally taking it back to the other dealership. Because I told him I would take it back to the other dealership for him, and I'd run the plates to him so he didn't have to. I was just trying to be nice, right? Plus, he's letting us basically borrow this car for a day and a half now, right? So anyways, so we're obviously at that dealership. It's a no on the white one. So we're like, well, crap. It's like 5:00, right? And they close, and the south side closes at 7. So, we wanted to be respectful and, get it back there, by that time at least. So while we're up north, we should start looking at other dealerships, let's just see if we can find another vehicle like it. Right. So we go into one dealership, which online it shows that they have it. Well, when we go in there, they don't have it, but it is at is like where they clean the cars and kind of get them all prepped. Right. He had a name for it. I can't remember the name of it, but it was a specific building. Right. So we're like, well, crap. And he's like, you can't really get into it or whatever. So we're like, all right, fine. So we leave. Well, my dad was like, why don't you just call the guy? And because at this point we're like, if this white one that we're looking at right now is as nice as the one we're in right now, like we'll take this white one, but we have no idea what it looks like. We haven't seen it. We don't know we don't even know what the inside looks like. Right. Because the website doesn't show that. So we really wanted to see the car, because we're still literally trying to make up our minds if we want to keep this Honda, right? Just because whatever, it was more of just the color, but it had like everything that we wanted, so it felt perfect, right? But if we could have got that first white one, we felt like that would have been like boom, like we did good. We saved a little bit of money and we got the right vehicle. So when the first white one wasn't available, it kind of crushed us. So anyways, so we go and end up looking at that second white one, the one that was at the shop, right? And we honestly just didn't like it. Like it was kind of a different style. Like the interior, it didn't look as nice and all that, right? So we realized that we still have we're basically comparing to see if we still have the better vehicle of the ones, and we're holding this vehicle hostage because we don't want anyone else to take it. Because in honesty, it really is nice. But anyways, as far as like it kind of looks brand new, especially the inside. So anyways, so we call Joe, good old faithful Joe Snow, our sales guy, and we said, "All right, dude, we're gonna buy it. We're gonna buy it." And he was like, "Okay, great." And then there was a debate on if I just, because it was getting late, if we just take it straight to him or if we just take it home and then deal with it tomorrow, which is today. So he said, "Yeah, go and take it home, and you know, because it was getting late, and we'll deal with it tomorrow." Well, that was a mistake on his part because that allowed my wife to sleep on it and wake up and just she didn't have that. Kevin immediately
like
just
I've been
puts
in
his,
this episode before, man. I've done this episode before. Classic Full House episode.
it's such a hard decision, dude. So here's the deal. So she wakes up and I'm getting ready to go to work and I'm just like, you know, it is what it is. Like that's the van we're going to get. Like, you know, I think
and
it's
that's
gonna be,
today, right?
that's today.
Today.
I wake up.
Yeah, we're on
Yeah,
today.
that's today, right? So I get breakfast. I even make breakfast for Nico or whatever, and because yeah, I made breakfast, and she just kind of. I look at her, and I can just tell, like you don't have that, like I just got me a new car excitement, you know. And I was like, I don't know if I like that feeling, you know. So, and I, you know, and I'm wishy washy. I mean, you know, look, anytime you're going to spend 20 grand or more, you know, it's a big decision, you know. So anyway, so you know, I just told her, I said, listen, like it's not bought, like, you know, this is a big decision. You get what you want, like it's going to last us, you know, this is the next family vehicle, like let's make sure we do it right. You know, I'm trying to be patient because yeah, we are stranded, we do need a car, but it, you know, we've got one car, like what, you know, we're making life work, you know. But you know, obviously there's that eagerness to get something as well. So I told you this story is about 35 minutes. So we go, okay, so we take it home. So she wakes up and she's feeling like, you know, it's like the only car I test drove. We test drove one other Honda before that. And it was a 2012. So she just kind of was feeling like, man, I should at least test drove a Toyota. That's what I had. That's what we loved for umpteen years. Like, you know, but the Toyotas are also a lot more expensive. Like each one we saw, everything we wanted was $5,000 to $6,000 to $8,000 more, and it was just like we just couldn't justify it, you know. Or it was more of this. It would be like 3 or 4 years older and like 100,000 miles on it, or more. You know, to compare to what we were looking to get the Honda for. So so we both are doing mad searches for Toyotas, just that last chance of like maybe something pops up, right? So she ends up calling my mom, hey, can you come help watch some of the kids so I can take off and just go to a few field dealerships to really make sure we're making the right decision? Because like we like the van, it's just like, you know how it is. Like you just want to make sure you like the van. Yeah, it's not like it's a, you know, but there's not a certain van that we're like, oh man, I love that van. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's a van. Like it's, you know, it is what it is, right? Yeah, no one passes a van and goes, ooh, mom, did you see that new 2021 van? That was sweet. You know, so do what?
Like them Jordans.
Yeah. So okay. So she starts looking. My mom and dad come over, help with the kids. My dad actually goes with Nika, kind of helps her, you know, just navigate or whatever. They find one that they like, but it like it didn't have a sunroof, which it wasn't a big deal breaker, but you know, it's what our old one had, so you kind of get used to it, and you know, of course, you want what your old vehicle had. So yeah, so it just didn't work out, right? So I'm getting off work at 5. And we are to meet Joe at 6 with the decision of if we're look at Richard. I've gotten Kevin to put his head in his lap. Now I've got Richard to do it.
This poor guy. I feel
It's
so
like,
bad for him at this point.
What'd you say? You always.
The end of the story
I feel
tell
so
us,
bad for this guy.
that you're wanted for stealing the van right now.
No. For some reason, Richard always cuts out on me. It kills me.
This poor guy.
Every time.
I feel so bad for him.
Who?
Joe.
Oh, Joe. Oh,
I
me
feel
too.
bad
He's
for
just
Joe
trying
right
to
now.
make money.
Oh, hold on. No, hold on, dude. So Joe is a character in himself. Hold on. Time out on the story. Let's talk about Joe.
Okay. Let's get to know Joe, because actually, can we
Yeah,
call,
I mean, hey, we're
can we call Joe right now and put him on the podcast, please?
dude. Oh, okay. So
Because I bet you his side of the story.
Oh,
is
dude, we need to have.
amazing.
Yeah, we need to have both sides of this story. Poor guy.
depending on your decision, he
Hey,
may or may
so-
not come on.
the
The
I haven't even told you about Joe yet.
Yeah, the
I
first
think
thing he's gonna say, "Hey, I have this indecisive crazy couple coming here." Like, what are you trying? Calling me about if they want this van or not. They're
Poor
calling
guy's
me.
doing-
I'm not calling them.
Everything he can to make a buck.
This is awesome.
So Joe was referred to us from a friend, and honestly, he was great, but he's a pastor, so he was very much led by the Lord throughout everything that we did, and I mean prayed multiple times, you know, like
this don't
he
even-
hold on.
this don't even
He-
mix.
Yeah, it's I know, and look, I appreciate the prayers. It helped. The Lord gave us favor, so I'm not complaining about the prayer. I appreciate it.
It's like a pastor
I think-
being a bouncer at a strip club or something.
Or he's just selling cars. Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, dude, I love you, Joe. So we go. Hold on, let me think here. Oh yeah, hold on. So the first day we meet Joe, he starts telling us about his 9 kids. 9 kids.
And you were stringing
Okay.
him along for this van, and he's got 9 mouths to feed. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
he's old.
That's
Like
probably his
he's
van.
no, they're all gone. They're all married. Yeah, he's
Okay.
an older guy, right?
Okay.
But he's well, some of them may still be at the house. Dude, hey, he's a car salesman, dude. That's all they do is work, you know.
Yeah.
He, do what?
I said, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So he brings up a YouTube video. I hope Joe never listens to this. I don't think he will.
I'm sure that's the next Toyota right now.
The title of the podcast is, I'm not even gonna say it, whichever dealership it is. Anyways, so he brings up a YouTube video of all of his kids, and it's like a video that's honoring him for his service. I think it was in the air. I can't remember what branch he served in. But he starts pointing out to all of his kids who they are, but they're playing instruments, and they have the music note stand like right in front of their face. And he's like, he's like, that's my, son, whatever, Jerry, there's my, and I'm just like, I can't even see him. But meanwhile, it's got him walking on the stage, and like, I don't know, dude, it was just what, like, me and Nika looked at each other. I was just like, I mean, if you're going to talk about your kids, like, can I at least see them? Like, I mean, they're literally a shadow. They're just like playing an instrument or whatever. So anyways, so I don't know. It was just a funny situation, but Joe was a little bit of a character, but I really appreciated him. And I apologized to him about 600 times. So here we go. So I'm leaving work, and my wife's on the phone. She is parked somewhere. And I have the decision to either go 465 East to go to the Shaylin dealership, or I'm going west to go to the south side, right?
Yep, you're right
Well,
in the middle.
So I was like, gotta tell me something. Like, what do you want to do? Do you want to buy it? Want to buy? I just don't know. And I go, okay, fine. I'm going east. So I went east, which is to Shaylin, right? Because I'm like, okay, if you don't know, then you obviously don't want this vehicle, yada, right? So we talk the whole way there, and it is like the most stressful moment of our life. Like I don't know why. Like she is getting overwhelmed because she doesn't want to make this decision, because it's tough. Like it's not even it's not like a I mean, it's a picky thing for sure. I mean, you want the vehicle that
Very,
you want.
very, very.
That's kind of what I want to ask. Like, is it too picky? I don't know. But when you're getting ready to make that decision, you always expect the vehicle that you really want is just going to pop up, and you're just going to be like, oh my gosh, if we would have waited one day, whatever, right? But we are at the point where we're just afraid to let this van go because we do like it. We just kind of we really wanted to maybe stick with the Toyota because when she test drove the Toyota, she simply liked the Toyota better. And she was just like, I'm sorry. Like, I just, I told her, you've been driving a Toyota for 10 years. You're used to it. You're going to learn to like the Honda. That's what I was just trying to explain to her. So it was just this toss up of like, do we take the chance and return this and not find another, nice van like this, or wait and get the Toyota. So I'm literally at the point where, and she's with my dad, and like, I'm at the point where I'm kind of yelling. Not yelling, but like I'm giving her the speech that she needs to hear, like, honey, you have to make a decision. I done told you. I done laid out all the pros. I laid out all the cons. I told you what's great about it. I told you what's bad about it. I've done it all. Like, you just got to tell me. Because at this point, I don't give two shits. Because I want this to be over, dude. Like, I'm just done with it, right? It's too much looking up crap. Like, I'm just over it. It's either we get rid of it and we just sit back and wait for that perfect vehicle, or we take this vehicle, So she gets emotional. She starts crying or whatever. We talk it out, obviously, and not crying because of me, just like overwhelmed. I mean, I never got like, real mean with her or whatever. Did you just point at me? You're saying it was me. I'm sure it was. No, she told me once we got to the dealer that she goes, you did what you needed to do. She goes, you weren't being mean. You were just letting me know, like, let's go. You've had 2 days now. We're almost 3 days. Like, you got to make up your mind. Like, let's do something. Like, we're tick 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 tick. Like, it's 5:30. And I'm still driving, trying to figure out where the heck I'm supposed to be going. So I literally pull into the dealership of where the vehicle is supposed to go, where we're going to return it, or if we're not going to keep it. And she goes, let's just keep it. And I was like, okay. So we got to drive. So I got to call Joe. Meanwhile, I'm just think about the stress I'm going through right now while I'm driving. Dude, like I'm already mad. I'm going eastbound, right? When I should have been going westbound. I'm in traffic, right? I then get a call while I'm discussing this with my wife and my dad. I then get a call from Joe, like trying to, like, probably like, hey, what are y'all gonna do? Like, we need an answer. I mean, he never made me. I put a lot of that on me because I felt so bad for, like, pulling him along, but I just kept apologizing to him. And like, I already felt bad because I was afraid I was going to take the cell away from him. You know what I'm saying? Because if we went elsewhere, like, I already felt bad because he had been so nice to us. So I was feeling that pressure of not disappointing this guy, and just trying to help my wife make a decision, So Joe calls me. I have to ignore it, and then he sends me a text, and I text him like, "Hey, talking to my wife." I'm literally driving. I'm like, talking to my wife about it. I'll let you know ASAP. And then he eventually calls me back, or calls me again, and I end with Nika, and I straight go. And Richard's like, "This is way too much." I know, right? I told you it was a long story. I mean, if you want all the details, I'll give it to you.
It's all good.
It's all good. Dang it, I keep losing my train of thought. Where was I?
You talked to Joe.
You were texting me.
Oh yeah.
And Joe called.
Yep. Right. Yep. So I text, or he called, and I was just upfront with him. I'm like, look, Joe, this is what's going on, dude. We're both stressed out. We're both trying to figure out what we're gonna do. Give me 5 minutes, man. Like, I'm trying to get an answer out of her, and it's not her. It's, I mean, I'm not gonna put it all on her, but in a way, the vehicle's for her. I'm not I want her to be happy with her purchase. I'm sure you all can agree on that, right? Because I don't want to do this again in like 2 years. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, so we take it to Joe because she says it, we're going to get it, right? So we get there, and we're going through the process. Everything's good. Like, even when I pulled up and like saw the van there, like I was just like, yeah, this is the right decision. Like, I feel good about it. Like I had that like reassurance. And then when I walked in, saw Nika, because I came from work, obviously, we kind of had that, like, this is the right decision. This is like, it was just a stressful moment. Right. So we talked to Joe, everything's great. Everything's good. We get the money stuff figured out. And then, we talked to Joe a little bit about like getting a warranty and all that. And he tells us that's, we'll talk to the financial guy about that. Right. Well, I had already talked to my bank about an interest rate, so I would know what I could get from my bank, which is Indiana Members. So, and it was 2.49 for 5 years, 3.49 for 6 years. Right. So, and I told them that. I said, look, I've already got a loan. I've already got interest from my bank is 2.49. If you can beat it, then I'll go with you, right? But my bank also told me if they can beat it, let us know, and we'll beat it, right? So, banking, Jared, you probably know maybe a little bit about this. Yep. So the financial guy, his name's Josh. He comes and talks to us. And we're not currently in his office when he comes and asks me what the rate was. So we go into his office, and my dad had made a comment about I would still use the credit union as we're kind of walking down the hall, and I heard it, so I'm pretty sure the financial guy heard it. Josh heard it, and but we went and sat down. And then Nika said, come here real quick. So she got me up and we went out in the hallway because it was actually just a financial decision on our end, how we wanted to pay for the taxes, because we didn't want to put the taxes on the note and pay interest on the taxes. We had some money that we could put to pay the taxes up front. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah. So we just had that discussion of like, do we really want to pull that money from our checking, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so we were having that conversation outside in the hallway. And then I said, what do you want to do about the credit union? And Nika said, I would rather use the credit union. I said, okay, cool. So we walked back in, sat down, and Josh goes, well, I heard what you guys are, I already know you're using the credit union. It's almost 7:00. Let's just get this finished. And I just go, we hadn't talked warranties. We hadn't done and we were wanting to know like what they were going to offer, because if they were going to offer a lower interest rate,
go to the credit union for the warranty. That's what I did.
Right.
That's what I did.
Right. Well,
better.
Right. But he said it like in a kind of a rude manner. And of course, he has a mask on, so you can't tell anybody's face. But the way he said it, it was just like, I heard you in the hallway. I know what you're going to do. It's 7:00. Like, I heard you talking. I'm ready to leave. Yeah, but
yeah,
right. Well, now I get that, but we were in the understanding we was about to sit down and hear him out. Like, we were interested to know what their warranties were. Like, yeah, we had it in the mind that we was going to do. Now, the warranty I wasn't going to do through the bank. I honestly didn't even know I could. Like, I was just wanting to do the loan. I was just wanting to do the loan. Yeah. So we were just kind of like off guard. And then so he said that, and then I said, well, we're just interested to know what you have. And he goes, it won't matter. You're just going to go to the bank and they're going to beat it. And like, it kind of was just like, all right, dude, like, hey man, we're just trying to buy a car here. Like, I mean, it made me go like, hold on, am I overreacting? And I kind of looked over at Nika, and she like kind of like did one of these numbers, like, and then I kind of looked at my dad, and he was just kind of sitting there, and because he was just kind of like, just along for the ride for the most part, he was just kind of hanging out.
Yeah.
And then, and I just kind of was just like, and then, so I was kind of on guard, and then he said another comment, and I can't remember it right now, save my life, and I just go, damn, dude, hold on. I was like, what's the deal? And he's like, well, you're just going to use the credit union, so you guys are just going to go there, and they're just going to, they're just going to one up us, and then you're going to have to come and do this, and I'm just, you forget all that or something like that. And I was just like, okay, dude, whatever. So, but it hurt Nika. Like, I mean, she started crying. Like she was really hurt, just because it was just this like, okay, you guys aren't worth my time. And now listen, I completely get it. It's 7:00. He knows what's about to happen.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to. But all he had to do was say, "Hey guys, look, I did hear you. If you want to do Indiana Members Credit Union, it's where I bank, because that's what he went on to tell me after I called him out on his rudeness. He's like, "Oh no, I get it. I bank there." I was like, "No, dude, you kind of came at us, in a way I didn't really like or whatever." And but I kept my cool, and I ended up, just doing what I always do, just kicking it with the guy. You're not kicking the guy, but laughing and talking and just. But my wife left. Like she literally got up and like walked out. Like she was seriously just like, because we're already stressed out. It's not like it's the first car we bought in forever. You know what I'm saying? Like we're trying to save money and do the right thing anyway. So because we wanted to know what our payments were going to be and all that, and he just like he was just like, oh, all right, here it is, and we were just like, no, like warranty talk, and he's like, no, you're just going to do it at the bank. I was like, okay, cool. So we get out, and Joe comes up, and he was like, how did it go? And I was just like, well, dude, to be honest with you, my wife's crying right now because of how rude he was, but whatever. And then of course he's overly apologetic and just, he wants us to go back in and talk to another financial advisor. Is that what they're called?
I call them closers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not, I'm saying it wrong. Not financial. Yeah. Closer or, I can't remember what he called them.
It's normally like
they're
a
like
manager,
finance
right?
manager.
There you
Right,
go.
there
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, I just kind of explained to Joe, what happened. And I was like, I don't ever complain about people. I don't want anyone getting fired. It's just, we thought he was at least going to explain, dude, my battery's about to die on my computer. That's not good. I just thought he was just going to explain to us what was up. You know what I'm saying? And of course, Joe was like, dude, he was supposed to. Oh my gosh, he could get fired for that, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I don't want anyone getting fired. I just want to let you know, like, that's just not how you handle a customer. Like there's ways to tell people, hey, I understand you're going to go to the Indiana Members. I'm not going to waste either one of our time. I get his point, but I mean, come on. So yeah, so it left. So we left there like in tears. I mean, I wasn't, but my poor wife is.
Did you leave with a van? Did you leave with a van?
Yes.
Okay.
And we're getting the windows tinted.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, and they took $500 off. So my wife saved us $500.
Through her tears.
What'd you say?
Through her tears.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. That's what she said when we was on our way home. She goes, "At least I saved us $500." I was like, "You did, baby. Good job."
That was the most stressful roller coaster that
Bro.
It wasn't meant.
Dude. I mean, dude, I was in my car.
This was all over a color.
Well, but come on, bro.
I get it.
Yeah.
But
I mean, if you're going to spend that much money, hey, let me go get my charger. Okay? I'll be right back. Y'all can talk bad about me. I don't care.
Yeah, we're about
Well,
to
hold on.
talk about
I can still hear you.
Right. My whole thing is I'm not going across my green nerve over color. Like, I know a color's important, but dang.
Yeah, that's a wild story. I'm stressed out about it.
Yeah.
I am too.
I'm coming.
Got a bus membership.
Was it that stressful when you bought a car last?
You know what?
No, like
Last time
we
I bought a
literally-
car, I seen a car I liked. I went in and I bought it, and I left. That was it. It was done in like 3 hours. Like I was driving by and I said, "Hey, I'd like that car. It's time for me to get a new car." And so I went in. I said, "Can I have that car?" And then that was it.
Your life's way too easy. No wonder you have so much time to play video games.
So we literally did this. I think it was like April or May or something, right? Like we looked online. My wife looked at the car that she wanted. She wanted something like that. We went there. We looked at two. We were gone in an hour. We test drove it.
Mm-hmm.
We were out.
Well,
But
our last.
she wanted a particular color, and she wanted a sunroof. Check.
Yeah. it's
We're out.
it's yeah. Well, we were fighting. First of all, like I mean, we were thought about Kias. We thought,
Yeah.
because we were literally like, hey, let's see what's out there. Excuse me.
Yours
So
was
we
kind
really-
of impromptu at the barrel of a gun, though. Too, I will say that ours
Yeah.
was more planned. And
Yeah.
meticulous, like
Yeah.
And we
looking-
had like a
looking
couple
over
days.
Of course, a month online. Yeah.
Right. And it so happened to be the first one we got, we felt was like really good. Like, wow, this is a really nice vehicle. A little bit more than we wanted to spend, but miles is good and lasts forever. She barely drives anyway, so it's I feel good about the purchase.
Yeah.
But it was just like, okay, we found one you like. That's great. I'm glad you like it. But is it the one you want? You know what I'm saying? So that's where, it's different than just like, to me, it's like, I don't know. To me, I think it's a tough decision unless you just know exactly, like, I don't know, Richard, you may knew exactly what you want, or like Kevin, you said, if you know exactly what you want and the color, and then it's a whole lot easier. But we kind of knew what color it was,
Yeah.
but we also, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just agreeing with you. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, but we, a little bit of it was we were spoiled from our last van because it had the leather, it had the heated seats, it had the sunroof, it had, and it was an 04, so of course it had a DVD player. So when you search for that, it's all the top of the line vehicles. Then you got to play the year game versus the mileage game. And there's just all these decisions to make. Man, it was stressful, dude. I'm so glad it's over. It's probably going to break down next week.
Just get that warranty, dude.
But it'll be great podcast material.
Just get that warranty. They
For your
offer
stress level, I hope it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you say, Richard?
Just get that warranty.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are.
Always get the warranty.
Yeah,
Um,
but I wanted him to go over the warranties and beat Indiana members,
won't.
just so I can go tell Indiana members.
They won't. IMCU,
Well, because-
IMCU has a crazy list of warranties. Like they basically have every tier, every level you could want. They have everything. So no matter what they offer, IMCU's got something to beat it. Because I just went through that
Right.
with them.
Yeah, and I know that, but I just wish I could have got a number from them because even the lady I talked to from Indiana members, she goes, it's 2.49, but if they beat it, come talk to me.
Yeah.
I'm just like, well,
Open up.
how about you just give me that 1.99 then?
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm
right.
gonna tell you they gave me. I mean, because that's what they're doing right now is 1.99 for cars that are 2018 and above.
Yep.
But ours is 2016. So, dude.
Quickly,
So how does that work when they've given you finance at IMCU, but it's not like you have a check? So how does that all work?
I'll get the check. I'll get the check from the credit union, go pay the dealership, and then I pay Indiana
Yeah.
members. Yeah.
Well,
I know that, but like,
or the bank will send it to the dealership.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So,
So,
dude.
before we get much further, I wanted to move along. That took a lot longer than I thought. We're 52 minutes into the podcast.
Dude,
That
I didn't think I was gonna go
that did
that
take a
long.
long
but-
time.
Man,
Um,
I'm sweating over that
It's
one.
all good though. It was a good story.
Good.
But I want to make sure that the guest we have on today, because the whole reason why I put him on was because he had what I thought was a pretty interesting story, which thankfully got interrupted because I was going to interrupt him anyways and tell him to wait to tell the story about his whole fiasco with his job. Now, Jared, if you can explain what the blue hell happened.
Okay, so it's kind of interesting. So there were too many branch managers hired. So at Chase, we had 5 of us that didn't have a branch. So they laid 3 of us off. So they paid us for 6 weeks. Our 40 hours, they paid us, and then they're going to give us a severance. And so technically my last day working at Chase would have been October 4th, which was a Sunday. And so all this time I was interviewing and, you know, looking for jobs internally at Chase and then also externally. And so I had been interviewing with a position within Chase, just a different branch of Chase. And so on October 5th, they offered me the job. So literally that Monday morning, after was the day before was my last day, I got offered the job. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes along, and it was just going to be a seamless hire. I was going to start like a week and a half later. But then the systems aren't connected. HR and the hiring people and all that were all separated. So the people termed me out of the system, and so it froze up the hiring, you know, process. And so they then kicked me, you know, so what happened is they had to create a whole new requisition, which is creating a new job to put it out. Then they had to have me completely reapply. So I had to reapply, submit my resume, all my information, even though they have all this. I had to do that as well. Then, you know, obviously working in a highly regulated industry as the bank, you have to then submit your fingerprints to the FBI to, you know, do all this. So I had to go get all my fingerprints taken, picture, you know, provide documentation that I was, you know, able to work there. They have to do a whole new background check, and they have to do a whole new background screening for me. So, so I was supposed to start this Friday, but they sent me an email earlier this week that said because of the delay of getting all this information back, now I'm pushed out to November 9th. So, so yeah, so it's just been a long thing. And
But you got the job though, right?
I still, I mean, obviously, as long as I pass the background. They sent me something today about my work history, because you have to submit your work history, and then they call all these people and they make sure it matches up to exactly what it is. Well, when I was entering it, I was just trying to go through it really fast. And when I worked at Arby's, and so when I started there, I started at corporate Arby's. And when I moved over to a franchisee, which was closer to my home. And so, but when I submitted my work history, I just put, I started there in 2010 and left in 2016 or 17. I can't remember what it was. And so they emailed me back today and they said, we can only get verification up into 2012 that you worked there. What about 2010? And so I had to write this long email back explaining why there was a discrepancy. And, even though they had already gone through that the first time I got hired.
Yeah.
So,
really?
So all this to, but what it's probably going to amount to is I was going to have to pay back a portion of my my severance.
Mm-hmm.
And so now with it being pushed back to the 9th, I don't think I'm going to have to pay back anything.
Oh, happy ending.
So,
Right.
it'll work out.
Couple more days off, huh?
A couple more days off. The only thing that sucks is now my insurance is going to lapse on October 31st. I won't have anything for the month of November, and then it'll start back up December 1st.
Yeah.
So
that's always the scariest couple of months, man.
Yep.
When you have no insurance.
That's when I'm
With
usually
kids.
yelling at my kids to stop running.
Yeah, absolutely.
like, hopefully
Everyone
it gets
go to
really
bed.
Cold in the month of November, it gets really cold. Everybody inside. Nope, can't go to the park.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. No, you
No,
guys
the-
should have no fun in November. No fun in November.
Yeah, there you go. Just sit on the couch.
Right.
Actually, you know what?
So,
I just want
that's
you.
my story.
Well.
Sit at
Well,
home on
hopefully.
the-
Now, are they still paying you while you're waiting?
Well, yeah. So I got paid. My last paycheck. So I worked till October 4th. I got paid. The following Friday, and then they paid out all my vacation, which was 3 weeks, and then they paid out then they paid out. Then they're paying out. They haven't paid it out yet, but they're going to pay out my severance, which is 7 weeks. So they're going to
That's
pay
good.
that out here in the next. I want to say it's going to be this Friday is when they'll pay it out. This Friday or
Nice.
next Friday. So
Right.
yeah.
Jared's buying dinner Friday.
That's right.
We going Sizzler.
Richard, do you want to talk about yours, or can you?
Well, I'm supposed to start my new job November 9th also.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So I got a call.
Richard's had 2 jobs since we started this
I
podcast.
know. I got a random call. Well,
Three.
I actually got a text, and it was like, "Hey, he was just kind of laughing about having to hire a new, IT person," and I was just like, "Hey, can I get that application?" Just like joking around, and he was like, "Yeah, sure." And then I just kind of looked at it, and the more I looked at it, I was like, "Well, I'll just see what happens and what they offer." And I went through the process, and yeah, I talked to the guy, and he was like, "Yeah, we got like 45 applicants in like the first day." So he
Jeez.
had to whittle it down to like 8 people, and then they ended up calling me like 4 days later, and they gave me a pretty nice, like a 20% bump in pay.
Dang, bro.
So I was like, I don't think I should really pass that up.
Yeah.
And they have like a fitness gym that has like those Pelotons. So I was like,
Nice.
oh, man, I gotta.
You're going to fall in love with the
I
Peloton
got
teacher.
To go. I gotta go, guys.
I need to go run with
Yeah.
Julie over here.
But like
You,
Jared,
you got the 20% bump. You could have bought a Peloton, bro.
I know, right? I could just bought one.
Yeah, but it would just sit in the back of your room
It
and
would.
collect dust, probably.
I know, but now I
Yes.
can use a Peloton while I'm working. So
Yeah,
That's awesome.
exactly. Now,
Get paid.
do you have to go into work? Or
Yeah.
can you work from home?
Oh no, well, yeah, since I'll be new, I'll have to go into work. But like Jared, I'm waiting for that stupid background check to come through. It's like I don't know, like you hear all these horror stories about background checks, and it's like, oh geez.
Uh-huh.
So
I'm nervous, and I have nothing
They've-
to be
I've never
nervous
done it,
about.
and they only go back 7 years. So it's not like they're gonna go back to when you're your kid and maybe did stupid shit. Not that I've
Yeah.
ever been arrested. I've never been arrested. I've had like 1 ticket in my life, and it got waived. So
Richard, it's
But
probably it's probably taking them a while because they got to listen through all these podcasts to
that's
see
probably
what
what
kind of
they're
person.
Got a crazy. issue.
Yeah.
All this time where we didn't think it was gonna matter.
Tell them to go through some of these group messages that you send.
That's right. That's right. So
Wouldn't
I'm
it
gonna
suck,
have to
though,
go
if they
through now,
mixed
and
you
I'm
up
like,
with another Richard Brown?
I have a family member named Joe Brown, and he went
Uh-huh.
through a background check, and he had a felony show up on his background check. It
Mhm.
wasn't him.
Ooh.
He had to call.
Ooh.
He had to call like the county clerk's office, and
dispute
like,
it?
it was a clerical error. So like
Well,
he,
yeah,
like, he literally almost lost a job because of it. Like it was legit. So that's why I'm nervous. That's why I'm always nervous because I'm like I got a very common name, and
Yeah,
for sure.
and I literally just had a background check like a year ago to work where I'm working at now. So I'm like, well, surely nothing has happened. So we'll see. We'll see.
I wouldn't be that nervous then.
I remember I hired a guy when I was working at Arby's or somewhere like that, and you got to run a background check on everybody, and the lady who does all the background gets them all back calls me because it was supposed to be his first day, and she goes, "How old is this guy you're hiring?" And I'm like, 19, 20, and she's like, "Oh, okay, then you can go ahead. He can go ahead and start because apparently he had a dad. He was a junior, and she got him mixed up with the dad. Well, the dad had like this
Rap
really
sheet.
bad rap. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like, but it's not like murder or anything like that. But like, it's
DUIs or whatever.
burglary and receiving stolen products and like all this stuff. She was like, if it was him, no, he couldn't work here. But if he's not
Just make sure the
57
dad
years
doesn't come
old or
with it.
whatever she said, and I was like, okay, good, thank
We'll,
you.
we'll give the boy a chance.
Yeah,
he,
we'll give
he has
the
a great
youngin' a
influence.
chance.
He has a great influence as his dad for a dad.
Pretty
He
much.
won't steal no roast beef.
He's,
No.
he's giving his dad frozen mozzarella sticks to the drive-through window.
Hey man, them apple turnovers. Ooh boy, I haven't had one of those in a minute, but those things are good.
Or their cookies warmed up.
Yeah. So was it tough? Was it tough working with a bunch of 19-year-olds and 20-year-olds?
You know, like I love running a restaurant. I love just like the excitement of it, like the
Mhm.
rush, lunch rush,
Mhm.
dinner rush. Like that was fun. Like when you had people, but like the constant ebb and flow of being able to retain people. And then what really got to me was just my quality of life and my work-life balance always depended upon somebody between the ages of 16 and 22, because those
Yeah.
were your workers, those were your shift managers, those were, you know, people who worked between, you know, $9 an hour and 12 or 13 bucks an hour, and your work-life balance depended upon if they showed up to work
Yeah.
and everything was running smooth, because you know you tried to schedule it as best you can. You're never perfect, but like that was the worst thing about running a restaurant, is it all depended upon that.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on fast food restaurants paying their employees more? Does that help anything?
It does.
I mean, would
It
you
does.
get better quality workers, or are you
Depends on
still
where you're
getting?
It depends on where you're at.
Yeah.
So
You might be able to
there
retain
are-
some more. Yeah.
There were stores that were. We had stores in our company that were in like near Columbus, like near the Cummins factory and other, you know, like other factory places. And even even they started paying 12, 13, you know, 14 bucks an hour starting off. It still didn't compete with a factory job, you know? And so,
Right.
you know, you lost good people to that only because it made $2 more an hour, which, you know,
Right.
is a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it helped. It helped retain some people, you know, and some people wanted it for the flexibility. They wanted a job where you can be flexible, where, you know, you could have the morning off and you could, you know, show up at 5 o'clock and still get your 6 or 8 hours in and make your money because they have something going on during the day. They have school, they have another job, they have this or that. But then there's other people who, you know, there's some people who come to fast food or, you know, to a restaurant and are like, oh, I want day shift. I want Monday through Friday. And it's like,
Right.
That's not realistic. Yeah.
That's not, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're busy a lot more hours than, you know,
Yeah.
9 to 5, Monday
Yeah.
through Friday. So,
Yep.
so yeah. So yes, it helped, but I mean, and those people in the restaurants deserve more. But the thing about it is the P&L and the monies, the dollars and cents of a restaurant are so the razor's edge of if a restaurant's profitable to when it's not is so thin that, yeah, I mean, they can make it $15 an hour minimum wage.
But that
and our
hamburger's now
grocery-
$12.
Yeah, when
Right.
we grew up, that we went to Arby's and what'd we get? 5 for $5. We get
Mhm.
5 roast beef, $5. One roast
Feed the
beef
whole
sandwich,
neighborhood.
you know,
Yeah.
like one
Yeah.
sandwich would be $5. You know, on top of the
It is
of meat.
now.
Yeah,
It probably is now. I mean, if you get just a roast beef sandwich, it's probably at least $4.35 or something. You know,
Yeah.
almost $5.
absolutely.
Well, because I've always not complained, because excuse me, I was a server at Chili's mainly through high school and a little bit afterwards, and I actually loved the restaurant. I thought it was fun, like you said.
Shout out Robbie Holt.
Shout out Robbie Hall. Yep. Yep. I need to get that boy listening to this show. Yeah. Shout out to Chili's. Yeah. So for those that don't know, my boy Robbie, literally every time he goes to Chili's, he'll take a picture of a Chili's plate or something and he'll send it to me, because he's always remember, because he used to always come in and I would hook him up with free chips and salsa and all that stuff. So anyways, he always clowns on me. And I used to always tell people I worked at Chili's and that I understand, you know, I used to always tell the servers that. So he makes fun of me. But like it frustrates me that I got to pay for a meal and then tip on top of it. But I was a server, so I get it. But there's that part of me that just says, like, what I don't like is that if I buy a $10 hamburger or if I buy a $25 steak, I have to tip. The amount of work was the exact same. It's just because my item was more expensive. I got to tip more, right? Like,
Yeah.
So there's that part of me that just says, why am I having to tip this person? Why isn't the company just paying them? You know, they're an employee. Like, why am I having to pay? You know, but if I don't, then all the food prices and everything else, they just skyrocket. You know, I mean, it's already expensive to eat out. So well, you guys don't have as many kids. I mean, there are times where I leave Chick-fil-A and I just go, what do we buy? Like, how many kids do I have? Like, you know, like, do we all get free sandwiches?
$50 in the drive-through.
I know.
I sat in this Chick-fil-A line, 30 cars deep. Spent $50.
What?
Yeah. No wonder it was their pleasure.
Yeah.
You know? That's why they say my pleasure. It's so good though. But you know, like when you think of places like Chick-fil-A and you compare it to, you know, nothing against Arby's, but places like Arby's, obviously McDonald's, like it does feel like a different experience. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just a different, to me anyways. I mean, especially last time I went to Popeyes, I was like, oh, this is why I don't get your chicken sandwich. You know, it's just like no one said you're welcome. Like no one. You
Nobody
know, and I
cares
said
to be there. That's the problem.
that is the problem. I mean, it's just
But
it's a different vibe.
Going to restaurants in general, like unless you get like an old school waiter or waitress that's, you know, done it for a while and knows how to treat people, you just get people who like could care less about doing their
Yeah,
job.
because they don't get paid enough. They don't. And
Exactly.
The places are not going to build the culture like Chick-fil-A. Like I'm going to have this, you know, lady scream at me over a $3 burger, and I'm making, you know, $6 an hour. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I wouldn't care less. I could care less either. You know. But,
Yeah.
It just feels like it's like an environment thing. You know,
Culture.
it's like walking
It's a
in.
culture thing.
It's like walking into Walmart and then walking into Target. It just feels different.
It's all the way that the companies built the culture. Like if they you know paid better, treated their employees better, and like had a better system, the customer would see it, the reflection of it.
Yeah, it's so true.
Bottom line.
So true.
Yeah, but
Where we go from here?
As far as pay scale, like I could see where, you know, these people that are getting paid, you know, $12, $13 an hour, like right now, like FedEx is hiring people in, you know, full time at $18 an hour. So it's like all I need is a GED or a high school diploma to do that. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go where the money is. You know?
Yeah. Well, and there's a future there too,
Absolutely.
for the most part. You know.
Good benefits.
Right.
For sure.
I guess. Would you say, you know, because like a lot of, you know, you'll hear this comment. Well, you know, a mom can't raise a family working at McDonald's. I mean, is it safe to say? I mean, unless I guess you're in management, that's just not the job. That's just not the job you should have to raise. I mean, I hate to say that because if that's the only job you can get, it's the only job you can get. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's like
because it's been done.
Right. But
you have to work your way up. But like, I mean,
Right.
like, yeah, an entry level job, flipping burgers, dropping fries, you know, running a register. Yeah, that isn't going to be a job that you can support a family on. It's not intended to be. It never was. It's intended to be what it is for, you know, a high school
part-time kids.
part-time. Yeah.
Or
like,
fast money or something like that.
But like the problem is there's a stigma behind, you know, somebody who works in a restaurant, you know, like, I mean, I remember when I was in college, you know, I got offered to be a general manager at 23 to run a pizza place. And I got offered damn near $50K as a 23-year-old. And I'm going,
I can
what am I
put
doing
some
in
pepperoni.
college?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, granted, you had to have success. You had to make the company money. But
Right.
at the same time, like, I was like, a few years of doing that, I was like, I dropped out of college.
Wow. And just kept
I was-
pursuing the food
Well,
industry.
I just was making too much money for, at 23, because the jobs that I was going for out of college were
10,000 less, probably. Yeah.
$40,000 jobs, and I'm already getting paid well above that to, so I'm like,
That's interesting.
I agree with that too. There was a lot of people I was hanging out with, like that went to college and stuff like that, and they weren't making anything. Like, and it's just like you could have been working and made some money.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of
Yeah,
crazy.
there's-
But I mean, I know it goes both ways though. But like,
I think
follow
that's
what
like
you're
one.
trying to do.
I think that's one of the most fortunate things that can happen is that you just find something, especially if you like it at that young age. Like if it just clicks and you just like it, and then you can just keep growing. Like I think Richard's kind of like that probably. I mean, he said he likes his field, and now you can just kind of, oh, this guy wants
You
more.
feel, yeah.
I mean, yeah, you could, yeah.
yeah, I mean, there's always going to be need for customer service, which is something I've done since I was 16. There's always
Right.
going to need for you got to manage people. And
Right.
there's always going to be somebody who needs to be responsible for, a location or something like that, which is something that I've done. Obviously, now the job I'm taking now is I'm reporting to no one, or I'm reporting to one person, and I manage nobody below me, which is going to be totally left field for me. I'm a single producer, and all the work's on me. But at the same time,
You don't have to worry about people not showing up to work.
Right.
Yep.
Booyah. That'll make your
that's all on
that makes
somebody
your
else.
that makes your home life a whole lot easier, and that's what all that matters.
Exactly. Uh-huh.
That's what I was telling Nika. Like I was, going through this car shopping experience. I was like, I think I would actually enjoy selling cars. Like I think, obviously you got to deal with psycho people like us, but like
You got to work
but
long hours.
that's what I said. That's any type of job like that where I feel like because I do like to help and teach. We've kind of talked about that. It's always retail, and it's just like, dude, like I don't want to give up my evenings. Like I'd rather be coaching my daughter or hanging out, like. So yeah, in my job search, that's where I get irritated. It's like I need to find something that I can sell, that I enjoy selling. That's a 8 to 4 type or 8 to 5, just I don't know. So figure it out one of these days.
One of these days.
One of these days. All right, boys, is that it?
Yeah.
So next week, when is the voting day? Is that November 3rd?
November 3rd.
Yeah, that's Tuesday next week.
That's my anniversary.
Enjoy.
So next Wednesday, the world's gonna explode on our anniversary.
Podcast next Wednesday,
So
Have you already
next Wednesday
voted?
Next Wednesday, we'll kind of know who the president is, kind of.
I don't think we will.
I don't think we will.
So
I mean, we might have an idea.
Yeah, maybe an idea.
The whole mail-in voting is gonna be.
Yeah.
It's gonna get interesting.
It's gonna be
Well, like,
controversial for whoever loses. That's what.
Well,
that's how
even
I
the
feel.
mail-in
Or
voting, like,
wins.
I was talking to my in-laws, and they had to mail in, but they were like, I don't trust the mail, so there's a place you can drive in every county to just drop your mail-in vote off at, so that it gets there.
Wow.
It's not being mailed, so it's like for me, it's in Hamilton County, so they drove up to the Hamilton County courthouse and walked in and put it in a box.
And it gets emptied every day.
Yeah. Crazy.
It'll be interesting because there's gonna be so much conspiracy, not conspiracy, but just even storylines coming out
Just
about the
questions.
mail-in.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you'll be looking to see if people are. Because I mean, they'll find a way to. I don't know. I hope it's not.
I hope
Crazy.
there's no controversy.
Oh
It's
God,
it's
I
gonna
just
get crazy.
I want it over with, dude.
Yeah.
I want it over with. But
Well, we'll at least stop getting
When
the commercials and stuff like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
But even when it's over, it's still not over. Like this is just starting.
Yeah,
It's
far-
gonna get
yeah.
it's gonna get even crazier after this. Hold on tight, boys.
Hold on.
Stand your ground. What'd you say?
I said, hold on to your knickers.
That's too close for
Glover.
podcast.
Oh, sorry.
Danny Glover.
Danny Glover. Frogs are gay.